We're Sid and Mackie, and we're professional mountain bike racers on a quest to race the coolest and most challenging mountain bike races around the world. Until a couple years ago, we primarily raced enduro, a gravity-focused discipline where 30-plus pound bikes were the norm. But now that we're beginning to do more endurance races, we've had to accept that our cross-country bikes are a bit overbuilt. So today, we're going to see if we can lighten them up without sacrificing reliability, function, and the descending capabilities that we love.
Today is an exciting day.
A very exciting day.
We are going to make some changes to our XC bikes to make them super light because we are heading up to Canada in a couple weeks to do a 6-day stage race, which means we will be pedaling our bicycles around for 6 days. So I would like to be as light as possible.
We would have done this at the beginning of the season, but we didn't have a lot of these parts.
Yes.
So that's why we're doing it now. Second of all, super light. I feel like that's relative.
We're not very good at light bikes, I would say. I think like coming from enduro, I'm like, I want beefy tires, I want beefy wheels.
I want a dropper post.
I want a dropper post.
Yeah.
So I was actually really thrilled that my XC bike was under 27 pounds, and then the internet got involved. It was like, that's really heavy for an XC bike.
So this has been a little interesting for me because I did race cross country very seriously back in the late aughts, yeah. I got my pro card in 2006. Okay. I raced basically cross country only for 6 years. And then we sort of switched to enduro in 2013. But during that time, I remember bike weights in the low 20s, 21, 22 for a full suspension. And so now I'm like, my bike weighs just over 26 pounds. Like, what gives? Why is my bike so much heavier? We remembered, Sid reminded me, we are now all running 29-inch wheels. Bigger wheels equals more weight. We also have dropper posts. We also have suspension that actually works, like forks that actually feel good and descend well, and it's amazing. Oh, and tires. Tires don't flat every single race like they used to. So the goal is extremely fun cross-country bikes that descend very well, as light as possible.
And because I'm just extra, we're not actually lightening up my bike, we're just building a whole nother one. This is the production frame of the Rocket, which we have had, but we weren't able to ride until the Rocket launched. So now it is time to strip down the prototype frame, send that back to Niner, and build up the painted version, which funnily enough does not look that different, but does have a logo.
Come on, it says Niner on it.
It's definitely stealth. I guess like this is just our year of stealth bikes.
I guess so. Well, minus your custom painted frame, which is the opposite of stealth.
At the bike park the other day, I was riding my Rip, which does not match our jerseys at all. And the guy who's unloading my bike was like, oh, I really like the color of this bike. It really matches. I'm like, oh, just wait.
Yeah, you should see my other bike.
We're going to strip this down. And then just out of curiosity, we're going to see how much paint weighs. We'll weigh the unpainted version.
Versus the painted version.
Painted version. I feel like one time we had raw bikes years ago and someone was like, are you doing that to save weight?
Oh,
and they
yeah.
were like 38-pound enduro bikes. And we're like, I don't think the paint...
We were like, yep, we're trying to save whatever 10 grams of paint. So you guys will notice that Sid already has these bird wheels on.
I couldn't wait to do this video. The plan was originally to put all the light things on the new bike, but...
You got the wheels before some of the other parts, so we just did the wheels.
Yeah. Well, also wheels are easy.
Also wheels are easy.
And they're amazing.
So when we weighed Sid's bike, just before we put on the bird wheels, it weighed 26 1/3 pounds. When we weighed mine, it weighed 26 1/5 pounds. Stripped down frame.
Yes, we're leaving the bottle cage on because the other one also has a bottle cage. And it's the same bottle cage, and I'm lazy. 4.54.
2.06 kg.
So 2,060 grams. Because
yes,
metric system actually makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, alright, so that is our unpainted version. How much does paint weigh? That's what we're finding out.
That's a great question. Okay, so
paint weighs
0.07.
a tenth of a pound. Paint weighs 30 grams.
30 grams.
Okay. We can handle that. The big changes are the wheels, which I have been riding on the other bike, but we're gonna pretend that I'm not. These are Stan's Podium SRD rims with bird spokes, which are a polymer spoke. They're stupid light. Yeah. The whole wheel set is like 1,100 grams, I think. And then it's on XTR 12-speed hubs. The other things that we are changing, I'm getting XTR cross-country brakes.
You had the XT 4-piston.
Those were overkill, I feel like, for this bike and the racing we were doing on it. Because like where you want the bigger brakes and the bigger brake rotors is when you're going really fast on steep things.
It's not like you're running tiny brake rotors. You're doing a 180 on the front and 160 on the back, which is...
tiny-ish.
You consider tiny. Many people would be running 160 on the front, 140 on the back.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay, so we'll have slightly lighter brakes. Then pedals. These are the M-Force 8s, which are titanium.
I think they're like 20 or 30 grams lighter than the other ones.
So that makes up for the paint.
Makes up for the paint.
Is this lighter or is this just like less obtrusive?
I don't know.
This is the thing that we're trying. So this is a dropper post and shock lockout.
It's called the drop lock.
We wanted to do this because the lockouts that we had before kind of sat on top, which is just asking for it. This past weekend, I tried very hard to break it off. It was unsuccessful, so I'll give it credit for that. But I just feel like this is safer. It's going to look a little nicer. Whether it's heavier or lighter, unclear, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference either way. I just don't know how hard it's going to be to get used to, like, having two things over here. I feel like there could be some mishaps early in the process. This is the Fox Transfer SL dropper post. It's extremely light. It's also not very much dropper. I will say I'm a little, like, unsure about this for the moment. This is the same saddle, it just has carbon rails. It is significantly lighter though.
Yeah, really.
It's just crazy. I never really thought about the weight of a saddle before. Again, not a weight weenie, but that's definitely lighter. And the last thing we're gonna be swapping out is the bottom bracket, which we're swapping for the Enduro bearings XD15, which is ceramic bearings with a lifetime warranty. So like 30 and 7/8.
That's the top of the rails?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's
like
gonna be exactly on the minimum insert.
On the minimum insert.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I mean, that's why it's the minimum insert.
I just have really long legs. I'm in pain.
When we end up working on bikes, it just always looks like chaos afterwards. So here's Sid's bike. My bike, which we're about to work on, Sid's shifter had stopped working, so we had to open up the doorway to Narnia, pull out another shifter, and then we just have like tool detritus, and yeah, it's chaos. Everything is chaos. I find it much easier to work efficiently when things are clean. I'll take a second, reset, and then it's time to upgrade my bicycle and try to make it as light as possible. Just like Sid's, I have already put on my bird wheels because fairly easy and super light. I am also going to do the drop lock, so replace the lockout and the dropper lever with the combo dropper and lockout lever. Already put on lighter pedals because, once again, I had them and one of my other pedals was being weird and making noise, so I replaced it. I'm gonna replace the seat post with a Transfer SL. I'll replace the derailleur cable, the lockout cable and housing, dropper post because I'm swapping it anyway. Oh, I'm also putting on a different bottom bracket. I'm gonna put the Enduro Bearings XD bottom bracket on mine as well.
I can't really tell a difference by picking it up, but we'll see. The dropper post is terrifying.
Yes.
But half a pound lighter, so here we are. Holy crap. 23.9.
So you lost 2 1/3 pounds
I know.
off the bike.
When you put it that way, I could just take it dump.
All right, what's the word? 24.4. So I dropped just under 2 pounds because it was 26.2. So mine's a little bit heavier than Sid's. I suspect that is primarily due to different tires. I have the 60 TPI casing, so slightly heavier like XC Trail tires. My saddle might also not be as light as hers because I don't have carbon rails. But besides that, they're pretty much identical. So I am super stoked. Almost 2 pounds off. Now we get to go ride them and see how it feels.
Okay, maiden voyage. I think this is gonna take a little getting used to.
The drop lock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I keep hitting the lock when I want the drop. The drop is a bit of a stretch. But you don't have to be there for long because it comes at you like a cannon. So we are heading out to do a little local time trial and an endurance ride in the reverse order of what I just said. Check this rack out, buddy. Here, come over here and be on camera, dude. Wow. Holy guacamole. Let's count the points. Dude. Check you out. I lost count. It's like a 12-point buck just chilling in your yard. After much discussion, maybe even what you would call a little bit of bickering, we finally decided on a route that agrees with both of us. I no longer know where my dropper post button is, but other than that, this is gonna be great. It feels so lightweight, like I'm just gonna launch. Yeah. This is my favorite part of riding in Los Alamos. When you're kind of like in someone's backyard, but also on like a reasonably technical trail. My point about backyards, there's literally a dog. She's like, what the hell are you doing? Ooh, that got kind of spicy. Okay, so less talking, more riding the bicycle. This is my favorite backyard. Pretty great. Look, they built this little bridge. This is hilarious, overgrown this much. It's very different. I love this section. It's so epic. We usually ride this trail in the other direction. It's physically harder this way, I would say. Okay. It's 5:01. It's probably just perfect to ride over on the road. So that was a ton of fun. We forgot that we can't post footage inside the labs without getting
thrown in federal prison.
Or permission from the labs.
Yeah, you have to like get it declassified, which, sorry guys, we were not willing to do for this video. That sounded like a pain in the tuchus.
Yep.
So we didn't record it, but it was super fun. Bike felt great. We're still getting used to the levers.
Drop lock.
It feels super light. Might have gotten the QOM on the descent. Did keep taking wrong turns in the race, but then we went and did a cool down lap. And I went for a hot lap on the descent.
What did you think of the dropper post?
I think it's fine. I'm having trouble finding the button, so I was actually like not getting it down.
Okay.
Which
so
was
it's
annoying.
Not the 100 versus 150, it's the
once I get,
knocking you down.
yeah, I mean, I feel it on my legs more, which I don't love.
Yeah.
but it's half a pound lighter. We know where my skills lie. I'm not saying no, I think I need to try it more.
Yeah.
The wheels feel amazing,
Yeah.
as we expected.
Pedals?
Didn't notice the pedals, which is exactly what you want with pedals.
Exactly what you want. Bottom bracket, didn't notice that either, I assume.
You also don't want to notice your bottom bracket.
Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's video, where we put our new lightweight setups through the ringer at the longest race we've ever done, the Big Sky Biggie 60 miler in Big Sky, Montana. See you then, and in the meantime, don't forget to be more awesome.